Hey everyone, it's Alex.
Je m'appelle Chloe.
I'm Allison.
And this is
Traumedy.
Hello everyone. If you're listening, you hear it. If you're watching, you see it. Chloe's back.
Here she
Chloe
is.
back.
She was dead.
And she
She
lives
was
yet
gone.
again. Yet again, she's with us.
Here
Chloe
she is.
felt the vid a little longer than I did.
Yeah, still feeling some of the lasting effects. As you can tell, my voice is a little bit,
Love that.
that's the only way I
Shaky.
can explain it.
But testing negative.
Testing negative.
Testing negative.
What a choice.
We're pleased to report the gals are testing negative.
Yes.
And
Yes.
still happy to continue to report that I have superhero blood.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
But, you know, we won't harp on that.
No. We're just happy she's back because I've heard about Paris from Allison over the days here and there. But it's exciting because this is the first time these gals have hung out since they've been on this trip
I
together.
know. She was so excited to see me.
I
And
was so
me,
excited
and
to
me.
see literally anyone.
I was also excited to see you.
Thank you.
Oh, that is great.
Oh, remember? No.
Oh my God,
don't
wow.
remember.
The difference in your hand colors is pretty crazy.
I'm very white.
I'm, well,
You were
during,
gardening.
During my convalescence, I did spend a lot of time just sunning.
Oh,
Just-
I thought you were saying gardening, and I was going to say those are dirt hands.
No, these are hands that have been kissed by the sun.
Ah, they're vitamin D
Sun-kissed.
mitts.
Yes. Vitamin D
Mitts.
mitts. Just my hands, though.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nothing else.
Yes, I was very excited to see them because I have been seeing absolutely no one but my live-in boyfriend for,
Dylan.
I think it was 11 days. And love him to death. But I do love your faces as well.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank
Love
you so
you.
much.
Why
do we both sound like
That
that?
was really gross.
So, Chloe, I'm going to go right to the questions.
Yeah, go on.
So before you left, you were told by Gall, who's our astrologist, which we've not talked about ever.
Oh my God.
He, our chart reader man.
Yeah.
You saw him. He said Paris is home, France or whatever. Did you say Paris?
Yes. He said that, yeah, it would feel like I was just going home.
And did it?
Honestly, it didn't feel like I was going home. But I will say that I feel like I did have more manifesting power there.
Yeah.
And I really do think that
There is power there.
There is
for you.
power there for me. And I did have, an amazing time. It was really awesome. But I do think like the stuff that I manifested.
She did. What was the first thing? Well, she did manifest us finding someone to help us.
A tour guide.
A tour guide to help us around and to explain things.
Yeah.
And that
Who wasn't
person,
annoyed by Americans?
No,
Yeah.
he loves America.
Okay, great.
But yeah, because there was a day that I think we were just walking around, and I was like, next time I come, I think that I really want to be here with someone who actually like lived in Paris or lives in Paris that can tell us like, hey, don't waste your time on the catacombs. It's a lot of steps and is creepy. Well, we
Is that
knew
the
that
point?
it was going to be creepy. It was like just really oppressive. Anyway.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
But I was like, I would really love to like see that through someone else's eyes. And then bam, on the train back to London, I had to sit next to a random person and we ended up hitting it off, being buddies.
From London to Paris.
Yeah.
Got it.
And the next day he met up with us in Montmartre.
Montmartre.
Yeah. And he like showed us where to go and all of the really like cool little nooks
Yeah.
and crannies of
Gave
the
us
town.
like information of like we passed like an art installation and he was like, oh, this artist did this because blah blah blah, and we were like, wow, we would have walked right on past it and like not have known that information, so it was cool.
Yeah, it was really, really neat.
Wow.
And he showed us a really cool bakery where we got some macaroons that were delicious.
Yummy.
And so, yes, I manifested him.
Amazing. They did not bring me anything.
Wow.
I asked for an Eiffel Tower paper. I did not ask for that.
Yeah, I didn't know about. If I had known that a lot of people have given you that, I would have done it to be funny.
It's true. I didn't tell you, so how would you have known? But it is funny that I have 3 Eiffel Tower paperweights from 3 people who have gone to Paris, and that's
Okay.
what they brought me.
Okay. So, on the way to a restaurant, it was after we went to the Eiffel Tower. So
okay. I wasn't there because I was having
Food poisoning.
intense food poisoning and
Yes.
losing all of the liquid in my body.
So me and our friend Megan and
Yes, friend of the pod.
Haley, we were walking to a restaurant, and I said, well, we just like chose a random restaurant, and I was like, I need pasta. I need there to be pasta at this restaurant. We go, bam, pasta.
Wow.
And then when we were at Disney, all that Haley wanted was a cute Ratatouille crew neck sweatshirt.
Disneyland, Paris.
Yes.
Yeah.
I put it into the universe, and I said,
We're gonna
there
find
will
it.
be one.
Yes.
Bam, there was.
I do actually remember that.
And okay, also, this is crazy. But on the, I think it was like on the train to Disneyland or something, I had mentioned that my brother had this like stuffed Pumbaa that it had like bugs attached to string that you could like feed him, the Pumbaa. You could feed him.
You could feed him the grubs. You could
Yes,
feed
you
him the
could
grubs.
feed him the grubs. And I had like talked about it or something. And then we got on a ride. And then when we got off the ride, like the little gift shop, there was the Pumbas.
Yes.
And I hadn't seen those in years.
Yeah, wow.
But they just so happened to be there. And then when we were waiting for coffee on the train, for the train, and it was like getting to be down to the wire.
Oh, yeah. Going to London.
Yeah. I turned to Haley and I was like, we're going to get coffee with 10 minutes to spare. Guess what? We got coffee, got on our train, sat down, and we had 10 minutes to spare.
Wow.
That was impressive. I didn't believe that.
Yeah.
I thought that we were going to miss the train.
You were very worried.
I was.
But yes, I kept manifesting things and it was pretty cool. But
That's pretty cool.
back to the souvenir that we didn't get you. Actually,
Is it an Eiffel Tower paperweight?
It is. No.
Oh my God.
Chloe has to get up.
Is this a live unwrapping here on the pod? Oh my God.
It is.
Wow, I feel like an asshole.
Yeah, that was pretty rude.
you should.
I just wanted a macaroon.
Well, if we could have brought.
No, that would have been good.
All right, Alex. You don't get to keep the bag though.
Oh, great.
You have to describe to the audio.
Okay,
listeners.
everyone. Stanley, hold this.
This is a canvas bag.
Oh. There was a rainforest cafe in London?
Yes. We weren't
You
joshing.
didn't believe us. So
Listen, let me explain what I'm holding if you're not watching. I have like a mild liking of this place called Rainforest Cafe.
Mild.
I'm obsessed. Ever since my aunt took me there when I was 16. Not even as a child. My first time was when I was 16.
In Nashville?
Yep. And I used to frequent the one in Disneyland here, frequent it in downtown Disney. They closed it. And they closed the one in Chicago, and there's none that I know
I'm
of.
going to Disney World soon. I'm interested to see.
Because the last time I went to one was at Disney World at Disney Springs.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's
I'm
still
gonna
there.
see.
There's one in Vegas, right?
No.
Oh, I thought there was one
No.
in Vegas.
No.
I looked up. I think that there might be more than we know.
I'd like to know. And if they are closing, I would like to know where the auction site is because I'd love to get an animatronic gorilla.
Gross.
Anyway, this is a corduroy hat. That's not corduroy. It's like a Carhartt. What do you call that?
I don't know.
Canvas.
Canvas.
Oh.
And it says London. Let me explain. So they go to the Rainforest Cafe in after
Let
Disney.
Alex explain our journey.
Yeah, here's how I'm just minding my own business. Like, oh, I couldn't be there with them. I hope they're having fun. And then I get a picture message that they are at the Rainforest Cafe.
Of one of the animatronic snakes. And I just said, guess where we are?
Well, first, we are under the impression that they are becoming very scarce.
Extinct.
And most of them are closed. And we have, like, months ago talked about, hey, do you remember the Rainforest Cafe? Like, we used to go when we were younger and all these things. And we reminisced about our times at Rainforest Cafe.
And were they great?
And they were, yeah. So we texted you the picture.
I was really like, I couldn't believe that there was a Rainforest Cafe there. And then I thought it was just, at first I was like, oh, they're just sending me a photo because, like, at least Chloe knew how much I'm obsessed. No, they ate there.
Yep.
Yeah.
We ate there.
Did anyone get a Bamba wrap?
I don't think they have Bamba
Yeah,
wraps
the
anymore.
menu was
Very limited.
Limited.
Yeah.
It was
There was no
different.
Bamba wrap?
No.
Bring back the Bamba wrap.
We all got chicken fingers and a Caesar salad.
Yeah, I was still like being
That's
very ginger with the food because I had just
Right.
stopped puking like
Right.
24 hours prior. So
Well, to
sure did rally.
finish this out, then they went to London the next day, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And sent me a picture of a Rainforest Cafe. And I, until this moment, just did not believe that they actually were at another rainforest cafe.
I kept up the con.
And Chloe even
She
said, Chloe was even like, no, we didn't eat there. We just saw it, which would have been believable, but I still didn't believe it. I was just like, no, this is just something they're trying to do because they're bored in a
He
moment.
was like, I don't understand what you're trying to do here, but okay.
And they
was
brought
like,
me back a
"Alright."
Rainforest Cafe London hat.
Because they don't have any merch.
No,
This is a great merch.
No, the one in Paris, at Disneyland Paris, literally, they
Yeah,
had
do you-
nothing
They
that
had
was
NBA
branded.
jerseys.
They had American NBA jerseys.
Do you
Yeah.
remember, like, a Rainforest Cafe's gift shop used to be like a Cracker Barrel?
Yeah.
I mean,
lit, and it was not lit.
yeah, it had like, well, the one in London, I will say, had more.
Yeah.
They had, because you were
Do they
about
have
to get them
shirts?
coasters.
Yeah, all I
Fun.
saw
Shirts.
was coasters at first that said Rainforest Cafe on them.
But
Well,
yeah, they,
this hat's amazing.
and it was pretty much basically, yeah, other than the coasters, that was the only
No
thing that they
t-shirts
had
at
that was
all.
branded.
Wow.
So
I love
there
it.
you go.
Thank
Just
you.
nondescript
Aw,
animals. Like,
Yeah.
That's so great.
Weird.
And I would love to go to London one day. So that's amazing.
London was shout out.
dope. It was so cool.
Sounds like you guys got there on a really good weather day, too, which is just
Yeah.
also lucky.
Oh my goodness.
That's great.
Yeah. It was great. I feel like I didn't need to wear that coat.
Same. I wore a very big coat, but
Good for
we
pictures.
didn't know. It was good for pictures, but it was
Mhm.
heavy and hot.
Yeah.
Mm.
But all in all, yeah, our trip was so fun.
Yay.
And the food, bomb. The
And-
experiences, bomb.
Here's the challenge. Both of you picking 5 photos from the trip to put in the carousel for this. Because these have these gals been Instagramming. It's so overwhelming to go back and try and support
He
them
hasn't even looked
that
at
I
them.
haven't even looked at them. I'm like, oh, geez. Oh, they're posting again. Oh, they're posting again.
Yeah, I feel like I need to cool it, but I still have more
No.
content.
I don't think you should cool
No.
it. If it's what you want to share, you should share it. I'm just saying, as someone that loves to support his friends' Instagrams, I'm like, I better buckle down for an hour.
I've pretty
and
much
give these
neared the
attention.
end of my pictures.
Yeah, I think I've posted all of the things that I wanted to post, like all of the banging photos of me.
Yeah, man.
So check those out.
I'm gonna check them all out because I will support my friends, but it's just I need a little time.
Every day I'm like, Alex still isn't looking at our pictures.
I'm just so overwhelmed.
Well, yeah, I think after a while there, I got a little tired of it, like all of the like taking photos and stuff.
Yeah.
And so towards the end, I was like, I think I don't want any more photos. So
I felt that too.
it was,
But thank God you got the content that you got.
we got that.
The
content.
memes will
I
be
definitely
very
started
colorful.
I started TikToks that I never finished. Part of it was because of getting food poisoning, and that really like put a damper in what I cared about. I just wanted to survive.
I had one TikTok planned and I did it and I posted it and we're done.
That's it.
Love that.
And I'm not even in it. But that's fine.
So a great time in Paris was had.
'Twas.
'Twas great.
That's really nice. I'm glad you're both feeling better. Hopefully the other girls are feeling better. I mean, I talked to Megan the other day. She sounded good.
Our friend Megan,
Our friend Megan, and I don't know if she's gone back to work, but she doesn't work on Sundays. So
she has not gone back to work yet.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all. Now you're back in the world. You're back in the world. Allie helped me at an event today. We delivered 42 bottles of champagne yesterday
Yeah.
and assorted juices to make mimosas. And then today was the event. So that was pretty fun. That was in the Hollywood Hills. I got to go up Beechwood and show her the
Very
perfect view.
Hollywood.
We just talked
vibes.
recently about how Beechwood was traumatizing for me because that's where I was when I found out about Kirsten didn't have cell service.
Mm-hmm.
Happy to report tons of cell service on Beechwood
They
now.
fixed the problem.
Tons of cell service. And Allison got to see the best view of the Hollywood sign.
It was great.
It's on Beechwood. That's true.
It's on Beechwood. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
And Beechwood
Very
is
good
not a
view.
through street. Okay.
You can't
It's
go
a dead
there.
end.
Sure isn't.
Today, one more thing. So on our way back, I gasped at a stoplight, and Allie was like, "What?" And I couldn't put into words what I saw.
my God.
But a man was running across the street with a gun, being chased by police officers with their guns pointed at him, and they all
was
ran
crazy.
on the exit ramp of the 101.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like a
Helicopter above going, "Drop the gun, put down the gun," and I was
We were just in
we
the
were just
middle of
in the
it.
middle of it.
Back in LA, I see.
movie. Back in
Definitely.
Hollywood.
Right in Hollywood.
It was scary.
Wow, that's insane.
And now here we are, safe and sound in our home, together again at last.
We made it.
That's great. So we obviously traveled recently. I don't know if you heard, but we went to Paris.
I don't know if you know.
And Alex, you're traveling a lot more for your work.
And have traveled a lot for work.
Yes, you definitely have. And so we thought it would be fun to talk about like traveling with anxiety.
Traveling trauma.
Woo, yay. And, you know, just kind of how we cope with things and how we like to alleviate our anxieties and our stress. And I think that some of my travel anxiety can be traced back to the vacations that we took as kids. And I'm sure you guys can feel the same.
Oh, yeah.
So like, Allison, what were your vacations like growing up?
So when I was young,
Where are you from?
From Marion, Indiana.
Right. Okay.
A lot of my vacations were driving to Florida or to Disney. My dad worked at a golf course, and so his vacations were in January when people weren't golfing. Obviously, it's Indiana and it snows. So we would pack up the car and leave at like 4 or 5 a.m. and drive as much as we could all the way down to Florida.
Which is like an 19 hour drive, right?
Yeah. And we would usually stop maybe somewhere like Alabama, Georgia, something like that. And
Toward the Coke factory
What? No.
in Atlanta?
The Coca-Cola factory?
You never went to the Coca-Cola factory?
Never went. I went to
Wow.
Cereal City, USA.
Wow, lucky you.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Sorry.
We'll get into that later.
No, so something that affected me like now, like looking back, is like I get really car sick now, but I know how to manage it better as an adult. But when I was younger, I would get car sick a lot and I would just literally puke. And so we always had a plastic bag somewhere in the car
For you?
just for me, a puke bag. And
I do that now.
well, when we started going on these vacations and we would leave so early in the morning, I would not eat anything for a lot of the day because I didn't want to throw up. If I didn't have anything in my stomach to throw up, I was less likely to throw up. I guess that's what I told myself.
Oh, okay.
And so in turn, doing that also carried over just into real life. And so then I stopped eating breakfast because then it made me feel less nauseous, like going to school and anywhere that I was getting up early in the morning to drive. And then I'm pretty sure that just like messed up my metabolism for the rest of my life because I just got in the habit of not eating breakfast because then I didn't feel nauseous.
Oh, right.
So I feel like that's like just like something that I've observed as I've gotten older that affected me that way. And that like I psychologically just like changed the course of my body because I just didn't want to throw up. So that is something that I remember. And then like, it was always like something, I know that you had like car trouble and stuff and there was always something. We got stuck in, I remember Dothan, Alabama for 3 days. Because our transmission, I
3 days?
Because it was on the weekend, and the only auto place that was open or that was close by was closed until Monday morning.
Wow!
And so we literally were there like Friday or Saturday, Sunday, and then most of Monday. And I remember going to the Piggly Wiggly because that's all that was there for food. Like it was just the worst. And so like now when I travel, I know that I'm like, if I'm driving somewhere, I'm like, I need an oil change before I go. And I need to make sure my tires are good. And like all of that just gave me some travel anxiety because I'm like, I don't want to deal with that ever, especially if I'm like, I drove to California myself to move. Oh my gosh. I drove to California myself to move out here. And the whole time I was just so anxious that I was going to be on the side of the road needing help and like someone was going to murder me because I was alone.
Alex has a lot of experience on that. Why don't you talk about?
I've never how do I say this? So my parent, we only flew once for a vacation in my whole childhood. And it was when we went to Disney World when I was 7. Otherwise, we also drove everywhere. So if we were going to Florida, which was never to Disney and always to my grandparents' condo.
In Tampa.
In St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg,
St. Petersburg.
Silver Sands.
It was a really fun condo.
It was.
And camping. Like, that's all we did. And yes, always car trouble of some sort.
His family's literally cursed.
Yeah, and then we pass it on too. It's odd. So, and then even just me, like my last car, I popped the tire 9 times in the 5 years I had it. and 2 times driving it to Indiana for no reason, just like explodes on the side of the road and then having your nightmare.
Oh my gosh.
But thank you, Verizon Roadside Assistance. $5 a month, your plan. So
Wow.
now that I've traveled literally hundreds of times now, I'm like, I would much rather fly, even though I don't have any
coming back
control.
and forth from Indy to LA, like all of 20, like 19,
End of 2020?
2020, like for 3 years, I was coming back pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And I never had anything like that. So knock on wood, it doesn't happen to me, but that's terrifying.
Yeah, that's why you got to wear your seatbelt at all times.
Part of my quarantine has been spent watching Lost for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
And so all this airplane stuff, I'm like,
Spoiler, the plane crashes.
and then they get lost.
What are your travel anxieties?
So vacations for me growing up were kind of like a hybrid. Well, I did spend some time flying when I was in beauty pageants. And so
To Canada.
To Canada. Well, we drove to Canada because we smuggled back Beanie Babies. I was sitting on them. Oh my gosh. Statute of limitations, right? We're fine.
You're fine.
Okay.
Pretty
Okay.
good.
It's been at least 20 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I did fly sometimes for pageants, and then we also drove to Florida a lot. Man, if you're from Indiana, you know.
You're driving to
Florida. That's what you do.
Yeah.
But also I consider like whenever we would go to Cedar Point too, the
yeah.
amusement park in Ohio. Shout out Cedar Point,
Shout out
America's
Cedar Point.
rock and roller coaster.
How have we not talked about Cedar Point before? Biggest
That
fan.
is weird. But we did like the same thing. We would wake up at the butt crack of dawn, and I just remember my dad being very like militant about things, and so we would have to like leave at a certain time, and we would have to like jam pack our vacations to do like so many things.
Oh,
and
right.
like, I mean, think about our theme park behavior. Like,
Yeah.
we have to like hit every ride that we possibly can. We gotta like,
Yeah, that is funny
fast
that that's
walk.
in us.
like that's how our vacations were, that you had to just like do everything, jam pack it.
To make it
And-
worth it. To
Yeah,
feel
you're
like
not
right-
going to spend all that money to like go on two
Yeah,
rides.
exactly. And like that's exactly what we did in Paris too. We filled every single possible second
Yeah.
with an activity. We saw literally everything that we could.
That is a lot.
It was a lot. And no, same thing. I was also I would get very sick all the time. Like I remember I did went to a pageant, I believe it was in Minnesota, and we flew there, and my mom still tells the story that like anyone that I would be like introduced to, like, this is the person that's going to do your hair, I would say, hi, I threw up 8 times on the plane. Like I
that was your intro for
I
that
can
week.
hear that, yeah.
I stay barfing. And but yeah, that's a whole different subject. But yeah, it was always like very like serious. Our vacations were taken very seriously, and
No fun.
So, no fun. All plans. Like a question. I'm sure this is for you, Alex, but Allison, did you also have to start every vacation with prayer?
No.
We would sit, like we would get all packed up and ready to go, and then we would have to sit in the car and
Lord.
pray for a safe journey. And well, I mean, obviously it didn't work for Alex,
Never worked. The Lord was not always with our car.
but yeah, like we would have to do the prayer. We would have to, like, I mean, do you remember when Ronald Reagan died and we were in Cedar Point and we had to sit in the hotel room, not go into Cedar Point, America's rock and roller coast, so that we could watch Ronald Reagan's funeral?
It is so funny that you say that, because I forgot that it was at Cedar Point, but when I think about the memory of Ronald Reagan dying, I remember being in a hotel room.
We were at Cedar Point.
Yeah.
And
Fuck, that makes sense.
We just had to sit there and watch my dad cry to Ronald
I do
Reagan's
remember
funeral.
watching that.
And so I just remember it being very much like it had to be planned, and it had to be like strict, and it had to be his way. But like when we would go on vacations with my mom's side, which was very like few and far between, it would be like so relaxed and like so chill, and we would
An
have
actual vacation.
yeah, and it would be like, what you want to do today? Oh, you want to like go into town, go shopping? I specifically remember when we went to, I think it was Gatlinburg, and I had stitches in my foot, so I couldn't get in the hot tub. But
Oh, no.
I remember I like put a Subway sandwich bag over my foot and like taped it shut, and then just like stuck my foot out of the hot tub.
Clever.
And it
It was
was
clever.
it was so fun. And
Yeah.
like we like rode horses that one time. That was like the one negative. But we like played N64 and like it was just such a good time. So like I just remember it being a lot more relaxed and a lot more like at ease.
Yeah.
But mostly our vacations were very like, okay, we have to go to, what was it? Domo? The Japanese steakhouse?
I don't know.
No. Arigatos.
Arigatos.
Arigatos. No, it's gone, by the way.
Oh.
I know. Because when I had to be in St. Petersburg 2 summers ago for work, I looked for it and it closed permanently.
Yeah, we would always have to like hit the exact same things and do the exact same. Like it was always so very like militant.
I will say I probably do have some of that in me still. Less about like hitting all the things, but like I definitely love a schedule on a vacation. But it can be the schedule today is to just do nothing and make no plans. That's fine.
Yeah, but it has to be scheduled.
But it needs to be a planned day
know
for it.
that's
Yeah, I do need to be knowing what's happening on the vacation.
Yeah, I think I'm the exact same way too. And if I don't have a plan, if I don't know like what's going to happen next, then I get anxiety.
Exactly, which is why I'm like, just tell me you want to stay home, like stay in the condo and hang out all day. That's fine.
Yeah.
I just need to know that that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So like, did you notice that whenever, because I remember you vacationed with another family when you went to like North Carolina, South Carolina?
Both. We went 2 years, one each with Becca and her family.
Yeah. Like when I vacationed, even with my mom's side of the family, I realized like, oh, other families don't do this.
Yeah. No, her family was so chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, there were things that we wanted to do. Like, where is the Biltmore mansion? That in North or South? It's on the way to one of them because that was something.
I think it might be north.
You got your phone? Can you check?
Because we went there. That was like something that her mom wanted to do, and that was so fun. It was really cool. But yeah, like once we got to our like timeshare,
North Carolina.
Once we got to our timeshare, both those places, it was just like beach, pool, hang. Want to go into town? Let's go mini golf. Like it was so chill. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed vacationing with them.
Yeah, and were there like things if you ever vacationed with a different family that you were like, oh, that's how you guys vacation?
I don't think I ever did that. I had people come with me on vacations.
You were that friend.
Yeah, but I don't think
those lucky friends.
General anxiety have led us to have like different anxieties and different things that arise when we do go on vacations and when we do travel, even if it is just like for work or for something.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Like, what are some of the different like anxieties that come up when you're traveling?
So I do get anxiety when there's not a plan. But a lot of times I feel like I put the pressure on me because I feel like, Chloe, you can probably relate to this, but you're anticipating that no one else is going to have a plan or an idea. So you, out of anxiety, just like make it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
then it gives you anxiety to be like, why do I have to make this plan?
And there's also that.
Yourself.
Yeah. And I definitely put on myself that I feel like I need to make sure that everyone else is having a good time. And everyone else's voices get heard.
I feel that way if I'm the one driving. Like if it's my car and I'm driving, I'm like, oh, let me make sure that, does anyone need to stop for a specific drink from this place? You know what I mean? Like making sure everyone is having a good time.
Yeah. I think I felt that during in Paris because I felt like I was kind of the reason why everyone knew each other. And so I felt this responsibility to like take lead in things and make sure that like, and because also there are some people in our friend group who have quieter voices. And so I wanted to make sure that they were getting what they wanted to do down. Like Megan really wanted to go to Disneyland Paris. And so I'm really glad that we were able to do that.
You got pretty like drained from, you were the navigator for most of the time.
Yeah. I also
was
navigating.
Oh, navigator. Got you. Okay.
To like go or navigate like the
walking
subway
and all
the
that.
metros
Oh, okay.
and everything like that.
Yeah.
And also like a lot of the reservations were made under me, like the Airbnb, the car rental, the tickets for a lot of the things were under my name. And so, and also I'm just like a natural leader when it comes to things because control issues.
I have the same.
Yeah, I was like, I'm really sorry that you are drained right now from navigating. I thought that you wanted to do that.
It did help me, like when I know where we're going, that definitely helps my anxieties. So that's another thing is like not knowing, being in an area where like I don't know things, that's a big anxiety of mine too.
Yeah.
And especially like, I mean, we were in a foreign country where English is not their national language.
Right.
So, I mean, for the most part, we didn't have an issue.
Literally had one time where there was like a big language barrier.
Yeah. So for the most part, no, it was totally fine. But that is something, yeah, like towards the end, I was kind of like, you know what, can someone else do this, please? And even though someone else was doing it, I still
had your phone out looking. So I was like, you know what, Chloe? Do what you need to do. I feel like that I manifest things in a different way with traveling now as an adult, that I just get really annoyed. Like, I don't know what the shift happened to me, but because I didn't used to care, but now as an adult, I feel like I notice people being inconsiderate and just like rude so much more now. And it like really grinds my gears, especially on airplanes. Like, I can pinpoint every time. I'm like fine usually in the check-in process, other than coming home from France was the literal worst check-in process and bag drop I've ever had in my life.
She told me about that. Oh my God. Wild.
Well, we can probably talk about it another time because it will literally take forever, but it was a terrible experience. But then when you get to the gate and you're lining up and people are pushing and like trying to like be the first one on the plane, and then you get on the plane and people are like in the aisle and they're not like
getting to their seat.
Yeah. And just like being like lollygagging. And then my literal biggest fear, or not biggest fear, my biggest pet peeve is like right when you land and people stand up in the aisle and they have their like butts in your face and they're just like, I'm standing here. And it's like, what? Like no one can get off the plane yet. So all you're doing is standing with your like genitals in my face. And you just don't care because you need to stretch your legs. Like and there's nothing that makes me more mad. And like people can attest, Haley, especially because she's usually on the plane with me, that I get so worked up and so mad. And she has to be like, Allison, stop.
Let it go. It's hard.
But for some reason, every time on the plane, it bothers me. And so I just have manifested some type of emotional trauma I've had into being like so mad about that. But I digress.
I think that like when it comes to plane travel, I'm never anxious about like the plane crashing or something like that. My anxiety comes from being late to the plane or like, you know, getting there, going to the wrong gate or something like that. I think because I am an anxious person about just that in general, but also like because our vacations were so scheduled and so strict that like staying to that schedule is just like so terrifying to me. And so it's like this fun little combo of like, and there was one time that I did almost miss my flight because I was at the wrong gate, because I read the gate on my ticket instead of like looking at the, and so it changed. And if I had not like, it was like the song ended in my headphones and I just like so happened to hear our flight number and it was like, we're going to start boarding here pretty soon. And I like looked around and no one was getting up. And then I realized,
oh gosh.
And oh my gosh. And it was at O'Hare.
Ooh.
Ugh. But
Midway's worse.
Midway?
Yeah.
Midway?
Then O'Hare?
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. But yeah, I think that just not being in control of the schedule. Deadass is not very chill.
I got very lax on those things you just said when I started traveling so much. And like, I don't want to be at the airport 3 hours beforehand. What if it's international? Yeah. But like for a domestic flight, like I am not getting there 3 hours beforehand, and I am not going to be at the gate until I absolutely need to.
No, not for me. I have to still get there like an hour early at minimum.
Yeah. I have to get there. I have to see my gate. And then I also have to check every monitor possible.
I do that as well. Changes. Every time I walk by when I'm like,
no. Flight 67 DL to Los Angeles on time. C12. Okay. Still good.
Good. I can go get my Starbucks.
Now with Burbank Airport being so close, I'm like, I'm getting there 45 minutes beforehand, and that's all.
And I'm TSA pre, so you know I am.
Oh yeah.
No, still
Wow.
getting there earlier.
Global entry, worth every penny. I'll look down to the camera and I'll tell you right now, if you can get global entry, pay for it. It's the best thing that I've ever paid for.
Because you
Period.
could keep your socks on?
No. Global entry, when we came back to America,
Oh.
we literally, like, you have to go through the customs, and we literally walked up to a monitor. It looked at our faces and was like, Allison. And I was like, yeah. And then I walked out.
Oh my God, wow.
It was 25 seconds.
So how long did it take you, Chloe? 32 seconds?
It wasn't that bad. Like, it took us maybe, well, when I eventually got to the gentleman, I think waiting in line, it was probably like 7 minutes or something.
Oh, that's not bad.
And then when I got to the guy, he was just like, how long were you in Paris? And I said 7 days. And he said, so did you bring anything back with you? And I said, I have 3 stuffed Pumbas in my backpack. I literally said that to the gentleman. And he goes, have a good day.
When we came back from Dubai, the line was very, very long. So, I mean, it probably depends on the day, and sometimes it can be quick, but
Mexico is so fast. That's the most recent out of the country place I've been, which sidebar, I got to say, have you ever, so you know when you go into a country, did they talk to each of you?
In line?
Like when you got there, when you went through customs, was it like each of you had to talk to someone?
Well, yeah, we like waited in line and he had to like look at our passports and stuff.
Okay, so before that, yes. So before that step in Mexico, everyone is in a single file line and there's a buzzer. And you hit the buzzer and a big light above you will turn green or red. Even if it's completely random. And if it's red, you get a full search.
Oh, so they do that when you're at the gate in Paris,
Yeah,
because
that happened.
Haley
The
and I got randomly chosen. And so I had to not like our bags weren't just searched through through
Oh my God.
security and
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, once again, I had to be completely searched, like had to take my shoes off. She was like bending my shoes, hitting it against things. She like took everything out. I had like a spare purse in my backpack and she took everything out of it, like unzipped every single thing. And my backpack had a lot of storage compartments, not to brag or anything, but
Lucky.
that gal can hold a lot.
yeah.
And so it was like, and of all people, I had 3 stuffed Pumbas. And they were
Pretty embarrassing.
They were vacuum sealed too.
Yeah.
That must have looked very odd.
I don't know. But yeah, it was like we just, we scanned our boarding pass
And it was like, ding.
yeah. And it was just randomly chosen to be us. It's just like,
It was pretty terrible.
yeah. But I mean, of all the people, I feel like I'm glad that it was me, because I felt like it would probably cause you to break down.
Because I had just gotten searched. At security, and they took everything out of my backpack and threw away a very expensive bottle of It's a 10 leave-in conditioner.
It's a 10.
Which it was a small one, so I'm confused, but she said it was still too big, and she took out everything, and I had stuff already in plastic, like clear plastic bags.
Which is what they say to do, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she apparently didn't like the one that I had, so she took out all of my things and put it in a new clear plastic bag. And I was like,
Okay.
well, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Because I had one thing, I had a little like tiny deodorant, like aerosol Dove deodorant that wasn't in the bag. And she was mad at me for that. And so then she put it in a plastic bag with the rest of the things. And then she threw away my leave-in conditioner, and I'm still not over it.
Yeah, I also randomly got searched too, and like I didn't even have any of that stuff, but she still took literally everything out. So the only person that I got searched the most.
You did.
Not to brag or anything, but that was not fun. Anyway,
Yeah.
Damn.
so
We could literally keep going on and on. So if
It could regale
literally any of this you care about and you want us to talk about another time, let us know. But it could go on forever.
and also in the gift shop, remember they scanned our boarding passes. That was weird.
It was weird.
That was just a side
And I
note.
wasn't.
Interesting. Duty
But-
free?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great.
So now that we've talked about kind of what our anxieties are, how about we talk about how we cope with them?
Yeah, that's
Alex?
good. I would say, first of all, I stopped getting so upset at myself for feeling like I need to be in control of the car situation. I was just like, this is who I am.
Well, and also that's kind of like, that is your role to play. Like some friends are the ones that like, are the ones that put their car down and then they figure it out later. They're the friends that always drive.
Oh,
There's,
right.
You know,
yes,
like
yes.
That is your role. That's what you can offer.
And when
That's
I think
your love
about the
language.
most recent would have been Big Bear over Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice because it was like, I was like, I'll handle the car and I'll get there. And then like you and Haley were a different story because you guys were in your own situation. But like then Karina was like, okay, I will handle the grocery list and making sure that this is all like handled here. And it was like, oh, okay, that is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I ended up being the driver the whole time we were there.
Yeah, because I was stuck on a hill. It isn't so much that I've learned ways to cope with it. I think it's just because I've just been traveling so much more in my 20s and now into my 30s that I've just found ways to be at peace with the fact that I am going to be stressed and do the best that I can.
It's a really good segue because I did get a list from the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, aka ADA. And something that they say to do is set realistic expectations. So knowing that like something's going to get happen.
You're right. You mean like how I know if I want to be there at 3 and it takes 2 hours, I need to say we're leaving at 11.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if, or like, you know, like your bag is going to get searched. You like just expect that is going to happen.
Good point.
And then you won't be like thrown for a loop really when it does happen.
And you'll be pleasantly surprised if it doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah. So setting realistic expectations, knowing that, you know, something bad is going to go down, but being prepared for it in the best way possible will definitely help ease your anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
How about you? What is something that you do?
I think that now knowing that I get so mad at people and I just try to like talk myself down and like give myself some perspective on like, one, I don't know what's going on in everyone's life. So maybe someone really needs to get off the plane really fast because, you know, they have a personal matter that they need to get to, or they need to catch a flight because they have somewhere important to go. And it's not like, it's not that big of a deal, but it just helps me to like try to put it in perspective that I don't know their life, and it kind of brings me down from getting so angry. But I do think I am the same way as you guys in terms of like making a plan to go somewhere and trying to account for the things that will inevitably go wrong, or someone was going to be late, or I'm going to forget something and I need to backtrack or whatever.
Yeah.
I think like that is something that I do too. I don't necessarily have trauma that has led to that, but I think like just as I've gotten older, that's something that I know that like makes me feel better about the whole situation.
But yeah, that can come from just like your anxiety as a person. It doesn't necessarily have to come from like some form of trauma. Yeah. But yeah, like we're all the main character in our own stories. And so that person really just wants to put their butt in your face without abandon.
Oh my gosh.
Because they're the main character.
But without abandon.
And I wish that I could be the person that did it, but I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't bring myself to jump up and stand in the aisle and put my ass in someone's face.
Well, also like you're a short person, but for us tallies, like if you're sitting in a window seat or a middle seat or something, standing up is just not an option because you got to like crane your neck.
There is no way.
Yeah. There's no way. You might as well just sit your keister down and not
keep
put
that
it in
keister low and be patient.
Exactly.
Especially if there is, here I am again. If there is someone who does need to get off the plane really fast, if everyone was just sitting down and that one person could just do on
like,
up to the
hey,
front.
I've got a connector that I got 2 minutes to get to.
Yeah. Sometimes
they do say that. Sometimes you're right.
They're like, hey,
they'll be like, can everyone stay seated so that this one person in the back can get off? Like, literally, no one follows that.
Yeah,
no one.
Because I'll find myself being like, hey guys, didn't you hear her say that? And you're all just standing.
They don't.
I'm working on it. I'm not perfect.
I think something that they say is also something that I need to pay attention to is don't expect to be an expert. That was big, like, because, you know, I went so hard on the Duolingo. I was like, I need to be fluent in French before we go, because I need to, like, what if Allison, her arm gets cut off or something? How am I going to communicate? You just can't expect to know every road that you need to go on. You're going to get lost at some point. Don't expect to be the smartest person there. Like that's something that I need to work on.
I did like 2 days of Duolingo French and I was fine.
Yeah, like when they would like on the metro, they would say the announcement in French and then they would say it in English. And I would like lean over to Megan and be like, passengers, 7:30. Like I would just try and hear it and then they would just say it in English. So it didn't really matter. But I mean, I still feel like I was a little bit more knowledgeable. So like I still could like.
It eases your mind a little.
Yeah, it definitely did. And so don't expect to be an expert, whatever. But yeah. I guess that's something that I'll work on. Another thing that they recommend is actually preparing for your return. So like I did this, I'm sure you did the same thing, but like I cleaned my room, I did all my laundry, I washed my sheets, I like cleaned out my car. I got everything ready for when I got home so that I could just like unwind. And I mean, clearly we didn't unwind, we had COVID, but right. But yeah, doing that
nothing mattered.
But I did have this place very clean for Allison.
You did. Thank you so much.
It's a good husband.
Yeah, I did. I did like make my bed and try to.
She said her prayers and washed her sheets.
I sure did.
But yeah, getting things ready for when you return, knowing that like I'm going home to a clean bed with like a nice fresh linen sheet on top. Yep. Like that was something nice to think about when I was like on the plane, uncomfortable, couldn't get a wink of shut eye.
Oof, that's rough.
Not a wink.
For a 10-hour flight?
Yeah.
Yikes.
That was 11 on the way back because of the tailwind.
Oh, that tailwind is so strong.
So if you have different ways that you deal with your anxiety, let us know, and maybe that'll help us.
Yeah, have any fun road games you like to play?
Learn from each other here.
Yeah. Let's talk travel.
Let's learn about each other.
What's the best neck pillow you've ever had?
I'm so sad I didn't let you guys take mine. It wasn't until after you left that I remembered.
How would we have shared one neck pillow?
Well, to pass around an experience. It's a $40 neck pillow.
Jeez.
And it is stupendous.
You got a big head or something?
It has 3 levels.
What?
All right, guys. Well, as you know, I'm Alex.
I'm Chloe.
I'm Allison.
This has been Traumedy. Have a great, great, great Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.
When I laugh to get through it,